All right, guys, how's it going? So, well, this is going to be a maybe four, maybe five part video series where I share with you guys a bit about my English experience. Um, Maybe some of you could relate, maybe get some insight, possibly. But if not, just get to enjoy, listening to me speaking English for a few minutes. And you could obviously ask questions, definitely would answer anything. So basically, my English experience, started way back in the 80s when I was in third grade. In Israel, we start learning either second or third grade. Back then, it was third grade, and I remember that my teachers were preparing us, in second grade. My homeroom teacher was like, "You guys better get ready. Next year is no joke. We're adding English into the curriculum." So I was already super nervous, and plus on top of that, you need to add the fact that my parents were getting divorced, so my head wasn't in the right place. So I wasn't really thinking about English when I was starting the year. So bottom line is that we're beginning of the year. We get our workbooks, we get our notebooks, and we start learning capital letters, small letters, and obviously the teacher needs to test us. So she runs a few tests every week. It starts with 4 letters, 3 letters here. She mixes it up. Maybe sometimes she throws in a vocabulary word, and I'm struggling, but like I'm hanging in there, not because I know the meaning to the language, because no one ever spoke about it back in the 80s. No one said, "Hey guys, invest in English," or "Hey guys, let's try to learn in a different way." So basically, we were just learning the letters for like the first 6 months. And I remember after 6 months, she said, "All right, guys, we've reached the end. We've reached the point where we're going to have a huge test about all the letters, the capital letters and the small letters." And I was, again, super nervous. And we took the test. And I remember that my English teacher, God bless her soul, obviously teachers were kind of different back in the 80s and 90s. Not blaming anyone, but she gave us the test, and I took it. I can't really recall whether or not I actually sat down and studied the letters, but I've always had problems with learning stuff by heart, when I was younger. Today, less. So basically, I do the test, and then a few days later, she comes back. "All right, guys, I have the results." And I don't know why, because again, I'm a teacher today. I teach at a high school. And I would never come into my class and say, "Hey guys, everyone got 100 except one." And that's exactly what she did. Again, not throwing any criticism, but as a child, you're so dependent on these grades because they define you. And I think that goes to say about everything that's been happening here today. There's no difference. We are so dependent on being defined and graded upon a certain number from 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, and I hated it. I hated it back then. I hate it now as a teacher. So basically, what had happened is that I'm in the back, crossing my fingers, praying, "God, please help me, God. I gotta, trying to make my mother proud. Trying to bring something happy home with all the devastating news lately." And then everyone wants to know who's the one that didn't get 100, who's the one that got an 80. And then she reaches down and she puts the 80 on my desk. I wanted to bury myself, basically. And I remember, again, it wasn't like the highlight of the year, but I remember that every time we had something going on in English in the next 2 years, they always, reminded that, laughed at that. I kind of gave up. I think at that point, I was just doing what I had to do, and I wasn't learning because I wanted to learn, because I felt that that's it. If stuff's gonna define me through grades, and I don't want to do it, so I kind of let it go, and I put it aside, and it had no meaning. It bared no meaning whatsoever, until 5th grade when I, relocated to the States, and basically I had to learn English, from scratch again. So is there a moral to the story? I don't know, but now I know how strong it made me believe in not believing that anything could define me, who I am, or a moment could definitely not again, shed light on what type of person I am, as I was as a kid or as I am as an adult. All right, guys, 5 minutes are up. I hope you enjoyed the first segment. I promise you guys a whole bunch of more stories with a bunch of funny teachers along the way. Have a great day.